Good morning. It is Monday and I'm going for a bit of a walk before I get ready for work. And I thought about something today. So I had downloaded this app a long time ago. I won't say the app's name, but it was a faith-based app. And I finally was cleaning out, all my recently downloaded apps. If you know me, I'm super nerdy. I need everything to have a place, even on my screen. So I'm doing that. So I went into the app to actually see if I'm going to keep it or not. Long story long, you take a little survey, so that they know what type of quote unquote content to feed to you or whatever. And I got to this question. It was probably like the second to last question, or it was towards the end of the survey for sure. And it was like, what is your biggest struggle right now? And there was nowhere to click, all is well at the moment. You had to choose a struggle. So I went ahead and deleted the app because that's just not the place that I'm in right now. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm not going to cultivate or manufacture a struggle just, to click a button in the app. But that did bring up something that's kind of been on my heart and mind for a little while. And this idea of recalibrating what faith means to me in seasons where I'm not struggling. I feel like a lot of, at least the faith messaging that I've received and the faith conditioning that, I've grown up around, both, as a human and then also on just in general grown up spiritually, and has been based around going through hard times with God, trusting God in hard times, having faith through hard times, and not as much emphasis on what it looks like to walk with God in good times. It's always like, don't forget God when things get good. But it's like, I can never forget him. But the actual walk looks a lot different. And there's not often a lot of messaging around that. There's not a lot of space held for that. And for me, stepping into this new space has created almost like, now I'm not going to call it a faith crisis because it's not that crazy, but it is definitely a full recalibration, because it's like, okay, for a long time my faith was based off of struggling to get through something, to get over something, to get towards something, and now that's just simply not my reality, and thankfully so. All grace to God for that. And so now it requires that I rethink and recalibrate around what walking with God looks like and feels like and means, because a lot of the foundation, unfortunately, was built around struggling through it. And we're just not, me and God are not struggling through things right now. And so I'm like, God, what does that look like? So I don't have fully the answers yet, but I do know a few things. I know that it's really leaning fully into the oneness that we have with God, knowing that he lives within us, that even when we're not doing all of the hard, struggly type things, that God is guiding us from internally, that, there's no moment when we are not with him, and that he's not with us, and that I don't have to over effort in order to maintain that relationship with my Father. Like, I get to just walk out life with him. One of my favorite scriptures is the one where, it talks about God walking, or Adam and Eve walking with God in the cool of the day. And it's just a reminder that life can be like that too. Where it's not always about, some uphill battle, that essentially this relationship with God can just be just that, walking with him in the cool of the day. And to me, that translates to God being with me throughout every part of my life, every part of my day, even when I'm not struggling through something, even when I'm not running around doing all of the faith-based things, or any of that. It's literally God is dwelling with me, within me, and moving in and through my life at all times. And so, I'm actively reshaping what faith looks like in this new phase and season now that it's not about like striving towards something. I mean, I do have goals, don't get me wrong, but it's not like there's no struggle. So if all of my faith was based on like from the perspective of struggle, God being with me through the struggle, then I have two options. I could lose faith now that, I don't relate to that right now, or I can take what I already know about God and, get to learn what it looks like to walk with Him from a place of thriving and not just striving. So that's just the journey I'm on. I don't have all the answers, but I do know that this feels great. I do know that I'm no longer in that super uncomfortable phase, because in the beginning, there was a lot of guilt, a lot of questioning, a lot of like, oh my God, am I losing faith type thing. And it's not that. It's like, these are things that you prayed for. These are places that you prayed to be in, both internally and externally. And so it is holy to lean into it fully and to live in the gratitude of it without guilt, without questioning, without doubting, without the temptation to manufacture some sort of struggle in order to reconnect to what felt like being close to God in another season. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that for now. I'm sure more will be unfolding as, the season continues to unfold. And so, yeah, I'm very grateful. Like, God is a big God whose depth and width can extend to any season or moment that we're in. Because ultimately, He's guiding us to and through it anyway. So I think that's all I got. I'm about to continue my walk and head back home, get ready for the day. But yeah, I'm very grateful. And I hope that you have a healthy and wholesome week. And I will talk to you soon, God willing. Love you bunches.